Marc-André Ter Stegen, has long been synonymous with security, technique, and elegance between the posts for FC Barcelona. Since arriving at the club in 2014, the German has experienced highs and lows. However, the 2024-2025 season brought a scenario few could have predicted. It all began years ago when Barcelona alternated between Claudio Bravo as the starter in La Liga and Ter Stegen in European competitions. This role division caused tension and uncertainty. Still young, Ter Stegen saw his development hindered by the decision. Eventually, the board chose to go all in on the German, selling Bravo to Manchester City. From that moment on, Ter Stegen became the starter and remained so until now. Throughout his journey, Ter Stegen delivered brilliant performances, especially between 2017 and 2020, with miraculous saves, precise distribution, and top-tier game reading. He established himself as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Still, there were painful defeats. The 4-0 loss to Liverpool at Anfield, the infamous 8, 2 against Bayern Munich, and multiple traumatic Champions League exits. Despite these, his starting spot was never truly threatened, until recently.
Thiago headed across the face of goal, Lucas Fernandez, and Coutinho has scored again, and it's 8.
The 2023-2024 season was one of the toughest physically for Ter Stegen. Back injuries sidelined him for much of the campaign. In his absence, Iñaki Peña, once seen merely as a promising backup, stepped up with composure. Performing well in important matches, Peña earned the trust of both the squad and coaching staff. Internal discussions began. Should Peña remain the starter even after Ter Stegen's recovery? By January 2025, Ter Stegen had returned to training, with coach Hansi Flick publicly expressing support and affirming that Marc was still the number one. However, in practice, his minutes were limited. In the critical Champions League knockout stages, many expected Flick to reinstate Ter Stegen, but he didn't. Officially, it was about match rhythm and continuity, but sources close to the club pointed to a different reason: growing backstage tension. Spanish outlets such as Sport and Mundo Deportivo reported tense discussions between Ter Stegen and goalkeeping coach Toni Tapalovic. Known for his calm and professionalism, Ter Stegen reportedly expressed dissatisfaction with how his return was being handled. Though not overtly critical in public, his interviews carried a noticeably colder tone. In one, when asked about his role, he replied, "I respect the coach's decisions, but everyone knows how hard I work and how much I love this club. I'm prepared to help, whatever the choice." Diplomatic words masking clear discomfort. Internal sources say Ter Stegen expected to start at least key fixtures, like against PSG and Atletico Madrid. When that didn't happen, he reportedly met with club officials to discuss his future. Meanwhile, Hansi Flick, fresh off a rocky tenure with Germany's national team, was trying to instill a new philosophy and increase competitiveness. His preference could reflect that, but it created division in the locker room. Some veterans still view Ter Stegen as a leader, while others see Peña as a symbol of renewal. This subtle split began surfacing during training, with reports of heated exchanges involving technical staff. Despite it all, Ter Stegen remained silent and professional. Teammates described his behavior as focused and dedicated, but his expression on the bench did not go unnoticed. Media speculation intensified. Was this the end of the Ter Stegen era at Barca? Flick tried to calm things in a press conference. "Marc is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. This isn't about punishment or favoritism. We're managing the season game by game based on form and readiness." But the statement failed to convince everyone. Rumors of a potential departure began circulating. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and Juventus were among clubs linked to the keeper if he were to seek a leading role elsewhere. Recently, reports emerged that the coaching staff would reassess the goalkeeping hierarchy for the upcoming season. Flick reportedly wants a direct conversation with Ter Stegen to clarify plans and possibly restore his starting role. Much depends on the preseason and how their relationship develops. Others claim that Tapalovic and Ter Stegen have a strained relationship, another complication. Despite the controversy, Ter Stegen let his performances do the talking. In June 2025, he started for Germany in 2 UEFA Nations League matches, both under Flick's watchful eye from the stands. In both games, he displayed security, sharp reflexes, and excellent positioning, proving he still has what it takes at the highest level. Meanwhile, speculation swirls around the possible signing of Espanyol's young keeper, Jon Garcia. Touted as a top Spanish prospect, Jon has shown maturity and technical quality, but questions remain about whether he's ready to handle the pressure of a club like Barcelona. Robert Lewandowski even addressed the topic in an interview. At Espanyol, you might get 8 or 9 shots a game and show your skills. At Barcelona, sometimes it's just 2, and if one goes in, there's no time to redeem yourself. The pressure is different. Though he didn't mention Jon Garcia directly, the message was interpreted as a subtle warning about the challenge being a Barca goalkeeper. Sporting director Deco also commented recently on possibly seeking a new keeper, citing Ter Stegen's age. He turned 33 this year. Still, Deco emphasized that financial conditions and the player's intentions would shape the outcome. Ter Stegen holds a long contract with high wages and has made it clear he's staying for now and won't reduce his salary. That leaves Barcelona at a crossroads. They want to prepare for the future, but are constrained financially, and still have one of the world's best goalkeepers on the roster. Managing this transition will be key, not just for Ter Stegen's future, but for the club's internal balance. For the first time since 2016, Ter Stegen is no longer Barcelona's undisputed starter. A career built on discipline, loyalty, and top-level performance now sits at a turning point. Still under contract, beloved by fans, and respected in the locker room, the question remains: can Ter Stegen reclaim his spot, or are we witnessing his final chapter at Camp Nou? One thing is certain, even in silence, Marc-André Ter Stegen remains one of football's most respected names. And when a figure like him is questioned, the answer tends to come, not with words, but with saves. And maybe that answer is closer than we think.